Hello there. My name is Alicia, aka Adevntitous Creations, and this is a space where I like to share all about the things that I've been making. I love to knit and sew and share the process with you. And I'm also a licensed clinical social worker. From time to time, I enjoy sharing general mental health and wellness tips within my podcast episodes. I'm so glad you're here. Thank you. If you're a returning viewer, I really appreciate you coming back and sticking out these episodes with me. If you're a new viewer, I'm so happy that you found your way here, and I hope that you will consider subscribing so you don't miss out on future content. Today, I have a couple of finished objects to share with you, as well as some progress on knitting whips. So before we dive into all of those things, I'll just mention I'm wearing a hinterland dress by So Liberated. This is a staple wardrobe piece for me. I've sewn the hinterland dress many times. It's such a comforting, therapeutic sew at this point, and I love this version. It was just perfect for the summer weather here in the mountains of New Mexico today. So let's dive in. I just want to jump in and share all the things. We'll get to life updates and announcements later, so that way if you're just here to check out the making, you can totally tune me out at the end or just stop watching. So first things first, my finished knitting project is the Saltbush Tank that I want to share with you today. This is by Briana Arlene, and her handle on Instagram is Briana Arlene Knits. I love the Saltbush Tank. Since she first started peeking this design, I really like how simple and modern it is. I like that, it's got a nice scoop neckline. I really was drawn to the deep arm ski. This is designed to fit more like a muscle tank, like you would wear when you're working out. And so from the moment I saw it, I knew I wanted to knit it. She used Farmer's Daughter Fibers Foxy Lady for her version. And so I was like, Foxy Lady, I have that in stash. And so I pulled it out. This is the colorway Mary Catherine. I knit this on the recommended needles in the pattern. I believe they were 3.25 millimeter needles, but you could double check me on my Ravelry project page if you want to make 100% sure. I'm pretty sure. I finished this in April and it released in May, so it's been a minute. I think I've shared before that whenever I knit something or when I test knit something, I finish before the test knit deadline and then the release day comes. I don't wear the things that I test knit until the pattern is released for a couple of reasons. One, I just feel like wearing it once the pattern released, I'm able to share in the release day celebration of that pattern, but also I'm afraid that I'll spill something on it before I get photos or to be able to share for the release day. And so I don't want to mess it up after I've made it. So I've been, since this released in early May, I have been hiking in it. I love the layerability of it. I don't have any bulk in my arms whenever I wear it, which, since it is a summer knit, I really appreciate. If a deep arm ski is not your jam, Briana does have instructions within the pattern on how to adjust the length of the arm ski depth, like to bring it up if you want to do that. I really wanted to, I knit my tank top to pattern specifications. I wanted the deep arm ski because I was planning on wearing a sports bra with it whenever I wore it. And like I said, wearing it in warmer weather, whenever I'm out hiking, I I appreciate that my arm or, my armpit is not rubbing up against knit fabric. So I love the breathability and how breezy the top is. I will share, like so. Here it is again. I will share some photos of it on the body now, so you can kind of see where it hits me on the body. It does hit like kind of right here at the bottom of my bra line, as written to the pattern specifications. And like I said, like that doesn't really bother me because that's how I planned to wear the tank top. One of the things that I really enjoyed about the process of knitting this garment is it's knit top down, and you probably can tell with I like the yarn that I use. It's a tonal yarn, so you can probably tell as a maker yourself that I knit the top part flat because you can see like the kind of the striping there, and then the bottom I did alternate skeins, but I mean it still has kind of this cool diagonal like across. So I mean, that's how it is knitting with hand-dyed yarn. I'm not mad about it. I don't care that it came out this way. I love it and I wear it a lot. And but one of the things I really liked about knitting it top down, Briana has the arm edges of the pattern designed to knit as you go. So you're knitting this in the process of knitting the garment itself, and which is nice. So like whenever that means when you get to the hem and you bind off your hem, the only thing that you have left to do to finish the tank top is to pick up the stitches for the neckline. And I mean, see how, look, I mean, that's not a lot of rows or rounds. So you just have the neckline left to knit. And I really appreciated that. It was nice to kind of like have that done as you go. And it's done with like a knit one, purl one sort of sequence. And it just creates a really nice polished edge. So I've really loved this knit. It's helped me to reconnect with summer knitting and or summer knits in general. I will admit I'm not a big summer knit person. Like I don't knit a ton of like tanks and tees, but knitting the Saltbush tank has kind of reignited my love of knitting tank tops and tees. So there are definitely more warm weather knits on my needles, and more that I'm planning to make during the warm weather season this year. So yeah, I mean, I'm really I'm a latent consequence, if you will, of knitting the Saltbush tank. So I'm really grateful for that. I know this released in early May, but I did want to go ahead and share more about it because I've been wearing mine so much, and I just kind of figured better late than never, right? Like I might as well go ahead and share. So yeah, here we are. There's been a lot happening since, I recorded last, which I'll share more at the end, but life. So now let's go and let's talk about so I'm going to put my journal over here so it's out of the way. This is my sewing finished object. I am so happy to share about my Sawtooth star quilted or quilt block patchwork. That's a mouthful. Oh my gosh. Falconer pants that I made recently. I just finished them this past week. The Falconer pants are by Helen's Closet. I sewed this pair of pants with my friend Gudrun Johnston, and she made a really cute pair in like lighter weight denim, and they turned out so awesome. They fit her so well. So be sure to check out her Instagram page. She's got some photos of her, in her Falconer pants. It was the second pair she made, and this is the third pair that I've made. So I like the first pair I made. I'll do my best to put photos up here as I'm speaking. So the first pair that I made was out of some Merchant and Mills denim. I love the Falconer pants. From this time that I saw them, I like the side panel, the side pockets. I instantly saw all these, like a blank canvas for embroidering on the pockets. So I did that on my first pair. Really love how they turned out. I made some minor adjustments to the front rise for my second pair, and the fit is just absolutely perfect. I used some flower print denim from Blackbird Fabrics for my second pair, and the Falconer pants are actually some of my favorite pants to hike in. They fit really nice in the waist, but then have a nice relaxed fit in the thigh, and the barrel leg is just, it's really comfortable whenever I'm out hiking. So I wear these pants a lot to hike in. They're comfortable to sit in. I mean, you name it. Like, I love the pattern. It's really great. When Helen first started peeking, like sneak peeking the Falconer pants, she shared a patchwork pair that had like little triangle patches down the side panel that she wore to QuiltCon, and I instantly was obsessed. And I was like, that's such a great idea to do patchwork panel down the side. And I love the Sawtooth star quilt block. So Liberated used that. I have that, my 11s backpack right here because I have a knitting project in it. But in the 11s backpack, they use the Sawtooth star quilt block, on the front pocket here. And I just loved sewing that quilt block together so much. It actually inspired my hand tattoo that I got recently. And so I was just like, I have to make a pair of Falconer pants with the Sawtooth star quilt block down the side. So I'll show some pictures of them on the body. Because I took the time to do the patchwork all the way down the sides, I did do the hack to, put the pockets, to do back pockets on the pants. Helen's Closet has a blog post that details how you can do this hack. If you haven't checked out Helen's Closet's blog, then you really should, because she does a great job at walking through how to hack several of her patterns. I mean, pretty much all of her patterns probably, at this point, like, have a hack. And so this hack was actually super simple, and I'm really grateful that she outlined how to do it on her blog. Like, I took all the guesswork out for me because I really wanted to show off all of the, beautiful Sawtooth quilt star motif happening in my pants. The main fabric for these is Grace hemp fabric from U Fibers in the colorway Marsala. Grace hemp is a really fantastic, like, lightweight, breathable, but sturdy bottom weight fabric for pants. So I've made a pair of Pignon pants by So Liberated out of Grace hemp, and I knew I wanted to make Falconer pants with Grace hemp fabric, so I figured, like, my patchwork version's like the perfect match. And they're great. I'm gonna wear these hiking, I'm gonna wear these out around town, I'm gonna wear these around my house. Like, I love them, love them, love them. I'm so happy with how they turned out. I did get some questions about, like, the the quilt block size that I used for my side panels. So I thought I would share just briefly about my process and how I went about that. So you could, if you would like to make a Sawtooth Star quilt block patchwork Falconer pair of pants, you could do so yourself, or you know, use your favorite quilt block. It doesn't have to be the Sawtooth Star. That just happens to be one that I really like. So what I did to make my panel was I pulled out the side leg pattern piece. Now for reference, I sew a size 8. So this is the side 8 side panel. And what I did was I measured across the widest point to determine how big I needed to make my largest quilt block panel. And then I went up and then down from there. So for me, I needed a 9-inch Sawtooth Star quilt block for the center, or to fit across this widest piece or widest part of the side panel. But then I did 8-inch blocks for the top and for the bottom. I did do, I mean, you can see on my pants, like I did Sawtooth Stars all the way down, even for my hem. So it's just kind of what shows, and what got, you know, folded up into the hem was folded into the hem. So what I did, that's what I did. I did, you know, did a 9-inch quilt block for the center to make sure it was wide enough. Then I did 8 inches up above and below, and made sure that I had enough of fabric panel to lay this straight on, and then I cut out the side panel. Now, one thing I want to remind you of is that once you lay this, you know, side panel piece down and cut it out up, you know, side up, you need to cut a mirrored pair. So you need to flip it over and cut it with the pattern piece face down on your second panel. Otherwise, you're not going to have a mirrored pair, and you're going to be repiecing another side panel, and that's a lot of extra work. So yeah, so thankfully I remembered to cut a mirrored pair. And what I do whenever I need to, you know, cut a pattern piece out, you know, the face down, this is something you may already do, but just to make it easier to see the notches, I mark it with a pen or a highlighter just so I don't miss them. And as I was making these pants, I actually, because, you know, the Sawtooth quilt block, Sawtooth Star quilt block is quite busy with, you know, it's not just a solid fabric. The notches kind of got a little lost in the fabric, and initially, like, I sewed the back of one panel to the front leg of my pant, and when I realized that's what I did, like, my heart sank. I was just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I did that. You know, this is why I label my pieces. I'm pretty meticulous about paying attention to stuff like that, so I don't do it, but mistakes happen, and that's, you know what, that's sewing. That's making things. So when I realized I did that, I had already serged the seam and everything, so I cut the serged end off, and I drew in like my seam allowance lines because they, you know, the fabric had been changed, you know, like width-wise. So I wanted to make sure I was still accurately sewing a 5/8 seam allowance when I re-sewed the front leg to the correct side panel and the side panel to the correct back leg. I was able to finagle it and do it. It did take some extra time, but totally worth it, and I got it to work, so yay. But something you could do to help prevent from doing that is, you know, like, clearly I am a fan of masking tape. I like that it's kind of easy to pick up and move when taping my patterns together, but also when I cut out my patterns, I label all of my pattern pieces with I make little labels with a Sharpie on a torn piece of masking tape, and then I stick it on my pattern piece. So I had side, you know, stuck on my quilt panel or quilted panel. And then what you could do and what I will do in the future if I make another patchwork pair of these pants is I will make a little label that puts and front and then back, and stick that right where, you know, close to where the notches are, so I don't make the mistake of sewing the wrong panel to the wrong, you know, to the front or the back, or, you know, vice versa. So anyway, that's all of my, you know, kind of my tips for the patchwork Falconer pants that I made. I did also, to finish them, I serged all of the pieces. So this is what the inside of the pant leg looks like. So I pieced everything together on my sewing machine at a 1/4 inch seam allowance to make sure I got an accurate seam allowance, and then I serged them as I was piecing the quilt blocks together. So that makes these super sturdy pants that will never fall apart. And that's what I wanted, especially putting that much work into a pair of pants. So, all right, let's go into my knitting whips. Okay, this is a progress update on the blazer cardigan by Zanete Knits. I am on the neck part now, and I just need to do a couple more rows and I should be done with the neck. And then I need to do the little like button bands to finish off. But yeah, she's almost finished. I talked about this project on my last episode. I love the just the elegant, simple details that Zanete puts into her patterns, especially the set in sleeve. And this pattern is really interesting with the loop fringe, and then she uses a welt to kind of close off and finish off the hem, cuff, and neck and button bands. So it's just a really unique pattern, super cute, and I can't wait to be finished with it. I actually will be picking out buttons and stuff soon. I should be done with that though in the next week or so. Well, really I could be done with it in the next couple of days, but it just depends on, you know, if I put time towards it. So I'll be done with it soon though, and I really want to wear it. I'm excited to have it in my wardrobe. Let's see. So I do have a couple of finished knitting objects to share whenever release days come. So when I finished one of those projects, I was like, I want to cast on another summer knit. So what I did was I casted on the Adevntitous. I think that's how you say it. By Olga Putano designs. I mean, I really hope I'm pronouncing her name correctly. She has beautiful designs. I have been wanting to make something by her for quite some time now, and this one just popped out at me. Oh, and so it is a lace weight, like drop shoulder tee, and this is where I'm at on it now. I'm using some an alpaca mulberry silk blend yarn, so it's quite drapey and slippery, so I'm like careful that I don't drop stitches off my needles. But I love the little lace panels. They're, you know, some simple cables in them, but there's just the lace panel here on the front, and then a lace panel that mirrors that on the back. And I really love it so much. And to do my cabling, I actually just use a little sock shorty needle, so I don't drop stitches. Sometimes, I mean, you know, if it's a 1x1 cable, I'll just, you know, cable without a cable needle. But I find that I do really like a cable needle over not having one. I don't know, it just makes more sense to me. When in the process of knitting, to just go ahead and use a cable needle if I have one. But since these stitches are so dinky, I found this works so well, instead of using a bigger cable needle that I have. Like, they're just too big for the stitches. But I love that project so far, and I'm just enjoying knitting it. I'm not like trying to rush through it per se, but I would like to get it finished like into the fall sometime. So I'll be sure to share more about it as I make progress. But let's talk some about socks. I have a couple of pairs of socks this month. They're both Shorties. The first pair that I have, OMG, that is so tangled, is the coffee order socks by Larkspur Knits. This is the second pair of these that I made these last month, but I did a picot edge and a solid color. So I loved them. I love those Shorties so much. I wear them hiking a lot. And so I just was like, I'm gonna make another pair and I want to stripe them. So I picked out 3 colors and I am doing 5 round stripes for this pair. And I'm calling these my ketchup, mustard, and mayo socks because it kind of reminds me of that as I started knitting them. So yay. So there's those. And then Briana came out with the Mesa Dreams socks this past week. And my husband really likes this design, so I'm gonna make a pair of the Mesa Dream socks for him. But Briana shared in a reel like all these different versions of the Mesa Dreams socks that she had made, and the last version she shared was this cute little shorty set. So this is my shorty Mesa Dreams socks that are gonna match my husband's. His socks are going to be my July socks for the stockpile to sockpile knit along that I'm hosting with my friend Chelsea Knits Sews Throws. That's her handle on Instagram. I'll have that information below. But if you want to join our sock knit along monthly, the only rule is to use stash yarn, and you can use any pattern you want and knit a pair of socks. Use our hashtag stockpile to sockpile, and be sure to mention me and mention Chelsea so we can see your socks and also share them. You know, please mention me so I don't miss them. I love seeing everyone's socks that they've made so far this year. It's just been really, really fun knitting a bunch of fun socks together. So how many times can I say the word fun? It's that fun. Anyway, so these are the Mesa Dreams socks by Briana. I'm doing shorty, so I just did one motif, and then went ahead, like I knit a couple of rounds and put my afterthought heel. Sock knitters, can you tell me, like, what's the difference between an afterthought heel and a forethought heel? They really seem super similar to me, but either way, heels placed. I am close to the toe at this point. And I've been knitting these while hiking, or I casted them on hiking, and I've been, whenever I'm out walking and getting steps in, or in between lifting sets, I've been knitting these or these. I've also been knitting them camping and at the pool, all the summer activities. So like socks are just so great for that. So I was like, well, I'm not mad about casting on a second pair of shorties. It's fine. So the last knitting whip that I have to share with you is the Desert Days sweater. This is in testing. It's by Briana Arlene. I'll try to include some photos here so you see like her finished piece. This is, well, I don't really know how best to show you this yet. It's a circular yoke sweater. I am using Jill Draper Mohunk Sport from Black Mountain Yarn Shop in this beautiful tomato red. I'm totally into tomato girl summer, by the way, so this is my tomato girl knit. But I also have another like red sweat. My Andrea cardigan is also a red, so I've definitely found a love for red this year. My metamorphic sweater, I think, was probably the start of that. With, you know, that was my Christmas sweater, but I finished it in January, and it was red. So I think that just really started my like passion for red stuff again. But anyway, this is my tomato girl summer project. I love the Desert Days sweater. I started eyeing it again, like Briana started peeking it in her newsletters. And I love that it's a staple wardrobe piece. Twisted rib, collar and cuffs and hem. It has a relaxed neckline, but you can see that this is a crew neck. I did ask Briana for permission to do a crew neck modification just because I prefer a closer a closer fitting neckline, and she was like, yeah, I think that would be great. So she was really nice to let me do this mod. I will have details of how I modified for a crew neck in my Ravelry project page when the pattern releases. So just kind of hang tight for that. But it'll be updated, and then that way you can, you know, if you want to do a crew neck mod for your Desert Days sweater, then you can. I am going to do the color work on the sleeve cuffs. I did a swatch for this right after I was lucky to get selected to do the test knit. And I was swatching the color work and I was like, oh my gosh, this is so fun. Like, we're knitting, we're purling, we're slipping stitches. It's like this really cool blend of stranded and mosaic color work together. It's super unique. And I was like, yeah, there's no way I could like not do this on my sweater, even though I could see making this more than once, like doing one in a solid and then one with the color work on the sleeves. So yeah, I'm really excited about this one. So, I don't know when this one will release. It's not due until August 10th, so I would imagine sometime in August Briana will release it, but as that information comes, I will be sure to share with you here. So, and also on Instagram. So let's see, that's all the like making projects I have to share with you. Just kind of general announcements. I mean, a reminder that ways to get in touch with me, all in the show notes. If you have any questions, comment below. I mean, feel free to shoot me a direct message. I definitely will get back to you. I love hearing from you guys. You know, it just warms my heart. And I mean, I like talking about making things. So when you have questions about stuff, it's just an excuse for me to talk more about making. So anyway, so there's that. Link to my Ravelry project page is in the show notes. I will do my best to list out the names of like the projects that I've finished and I'm making, all in the show notes. And general announcement too, I am a Woolly Thistle affiliate. The Woolly Thistle is this awesome online yarn shop. And so because I'm an affiliate, if you shop with my affiliate link, which will be listed in the show notes, then I get a small commission at no extra charge to you. So no pressure there, but if you do choose to, if you need something for a project, an upcoming project, or you're inspired to, you know, start a new project, if you consider shopping using my affiliate link, then it does help me out a little bit. So Very much appreciate it. I, let's see, what else? Since I last recorded, the kids have been out of school. We've been doing all the summer things. I've been taking the kids to the pool a lot, which I have really thoroughly enjoyed. I love going to the swimming pool myself. I grew up on the swim team, and I really enjoy seeing my kids, building their swimming skills. At this point, Ella is a little fish. She's working on her freestyle, and Howie is working on blowing bubbles in the water, and he's doggy paddling a little bit, but we still need to get him better with his front float and back float. I also was a lifeguard and taught swim lessons growing up. So, so I've been working with the kids on their swim skills, which has been fun. I mean, not only is it fun to swim, but it's an important life skill too. So we've really enjoyed that. The kids are in a summer program, and that's been awesome for their socialization. They get to play with kids their own age. So, yeah, I mean, I've been spending a lot of time outside and just knitting and sewing from time to time. I really enjoyed Me Made May. I do have to say, it's kind of the last thing I'll share. But I really enjoyed the process of seeing other people's makes during Me Made May, and also sharing the things that I had been making. But I definitely needed a little bit of a detox from social media, like for a couple weeks after, Me Made May, and like kind of having a daily like post and stuff. I was on social media. I was not totally off them, but I felt like I was in a slump. Like, I don't have that much to share. But that was also a reason why I haven't had time, or I have not made the time to record, because I was just like, oh my God, I'm just tired of being online. So, yeah. So I guess JK, that wasn't the last thing I'll share. The very last thing I'll share is that this past week we had the anniversary of the South Fork and Salt wildfires. And so we've all been, I think as a community in Ruidoso, we're still very much healing. The recovery's been super slow. Financially, things really haven't bounced back yet for businesses, even though it's been a year. And I just don't know that our community will be, our community's forever changed, but it definitely, I don't know. We're still healing, feeling all the feels. I've noticed myself with the anniversary of the fire coming, like just feeling very unsettled and unfocused and kind of scattered. So, it's just been a challenge, but I've been doing the things that I need to take care of myself. And, it's just been really, it's been great and uplifting, sharing experiences with other people that went through the wildfire here in Ruidoso, but then also with people who have, who understand the threat of wildfires, who live on the West Coast. And so, I don't know that, definitely, I'm doing okay and everything, but it's been, that's also been a challenge for sure. So if there's anything that you've been, dealing with, or has been challenging for you lately, know that you're not alone, like no matter what it is. And if you do need support, reach out. There's professional help. Reach out to a friend. If you're unsure where to start, professionally, I could, point you in the right direction if you need that. But you also, like friends, family, reach out. There are people that care, and we're all carrying something heavy in life. But, when we share the load with one another, it makes it sustainable for us to continue to step and move forward. because life moves forward with us whether we want it to or not. So anyway, I guess that's my words of encouragement for today. Hang in there. We're all in this together. And I'd love to hear what you're working on. You know, please comment below in the comment section of the video. And until next time, happy mindful making.